All right, so welcome back everyone to our another episode of Java development here with data structures and algorithms. So in our last episode, we saw what are the features supported by Java programming. In this particular episode, we will understand what is pseudocode and what is flowchart because these things are very important. Although they are the basic things for any programming language, but they helps us to build our fundamental for the same programming language. So let's start with the very first one, which we call flowchart. We'll take certain example here as well so that we can understand it in a better format. The thing is, whenever I'm talking about flowchart, it's already a flow in nature. So flowcharts explains the flow of the program. I mean that how the program is going to be executed. So it explains the flow of the program and they are like, so I can say here flowcharts are like the fundamentals of the programming language, or we can say here as the building block of the programming language for the development of any sort of application. That's why they are so important. They are like the fundamentals of the programming language, or in a more simpler format, you can call them as the building block of the programming language for the development of any application. Okay. Now, if I have to define what is a pseudocode, very simple. Let's find it out here. Second one, pseudocode. Pseudocode. So that also we can simply define here. What is a pseudocode? Let's understand it. A pseudocode is a very simple form of computer language used in the programming design. See, every computer language will have some English word and some way of programming it, programmatical things that only will be understood by the computer and the human. The thing is, how we are going to represent it in a more simpler format that even a child can understand the stuff. That's what a pseudocode is all about. So, or a very simple format, you can say a pseudocode is a step by step verbal outline of our code that we can simply hear so that we can later transcribe into a programming language. What we can do, we can later transcribe into a programming language. So in a simpler format, first creating it and then simply converting it into the programming language. What it does, so it explains what each line of the program should do. Simply explain how we are going to write our program and how we are going to develop the solution for the requirement. Right? So flowcharts explain the flow of the program. For better format, let me show you the images. So I shall say flowchart of a program. See this part. This is a flowchart. So like this way you see here. Generally start in form of these boxes. There we can see the input, initialization process, and the conditional checking. Conditional checking means if certain condition is satisfied, then how the program is going to react for it, or if let's say the condition is not satisfied, how the program is again going to react for the same thing. So these things are handled here easily by here our flowchart. You can see it is explaining how the program is going to behave based on the input and based on the conditional check. If I show you pseudocode, there you see pseudocode writing it in a simpler normal English format. that anyone can understand. So let's write certain things for us as well so that we can also understand in this case. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take certain requirements. Suppose I'm taking my requirement one. Requirement one is to take input, very simple one, or say take name as an input from the user and then display the name as the output to the user. Whatever input the user is going to give, we are simply going to display the same thing as the output to it. So let's understand it. We are going to do here is we will start with, I'm writing a pseudocode in a simple format. Very first one, we will start with the start of the program. So start of program. Second step will be here. We will take the input. So we'll take input name, and this input will be stored into something. So a container will be needed. These kind of containers in programming languages are called variables, where we can store some value. So inside this container, we will take the input. Third will be output. So we will display this to output, and here we will display this container. This container will have the value our name, whatever name the user has given, and then it will be displayed. So after that, we can go for end of program. See, simple 4 step. Now simply whatever programming language is there, we can convert it into the desired programming language, and in the same format it will be displayed to the user. Correct? Let's move on to requirement 2. This pseudocode helps us to build the algorithm, and based on the algorithm we can simply write our solution. Second, requirement 2. Requirement 2, suppose I am taking here, take a input for revenue by a salesperson. Say I'm taking input for the revenue by a salesperson. Every company always have the salesperson. And say if the revenue is greater than 100,000, say I'm giving 1 lakh, then the salesperson will get 10% bonus. What they will do? They will get the 10% bonus. Otherwise, no bonus will be granted. This is going to be my requirement 2 here. So what will be the pseudocode for this one? Understand it. Again, we will start with the start of program. Then we need to understand how much revenue the user has taken. So we'll go for input revenue part. This revenue will also be stored into a variable. So a container will be needed where we are going to store this. This will be nothing but a variable. Correct? After that, we will check. So if condition, a conditional statement will come, which is going to check how much the value we have given here. So if revenue is, say, if the revenue is greater than 100,000, correct? That is, I'm giving here if the revenue is, oh, I'm giving here 10,000. Let's make it 100,000. So if it is greater than 100,000, we will increase the value of revenue. So revenue is equal to revenue plus 0.1 into 10%. So 10 by 100, it will be 0.1. So 0.1 into the revenue. And then from here, we will go to, let's say I'm saying go to step 5. This is when the condition is true. So if the condition is true, if this is greater than that, otherwise, if the condition is false, so if the condition is false, the value of revenue will be revenue is equal to revenue. Two things is possible. If it is true, this one will happen and it will go to step 5. Otherwise, if it is false, it will go to do this one, and then the next step will be 5, where we are going to display the revenue. So this variable we are calling here as, let's say, revenue for easy understanding, where we are going to store the revenue value, and then we are performing all this stuff. Finally, we will output the revenue and I will go for end of program. This is my requirement too. Finally, we will be able to display our revenue. One more requirement, let's say very interesting one, and almost everywhere whenever we start our programming journey, we always learn this part. So I'm going to do this for you guys as well. Requirement 3. So I'm going for the same approach. Here what I'm saying, we are going to find, so finding a number is a prime number or not. Finding a number is a prime number or not. So what is a prime number? First, a prime number is a special number which is only divisible by itself and by 1. So this definition must keep in our mind, a very basic one. We learn this part in our early school days in for what is a prime number, what is a whole number, what is a even number kind of thing. Let's try to write a pseudocode for it. What I'm going to do here, I will start with the program. So start of program. Second thing I will do, I will go for taking input. So input number, and here I'm going to write taking input from the user. We are going to take input from the user. I am doing the initialization here. See, what I am doing, declaration here. I am declaring a variable. So say I'm creating a variable flag. I'm creating here a variable called flag and I'm initializing the value as true. One by itself is not needed, but suppose I'm creating a variable called 2, and what I am doing, I am checking a condition. The condition is based on while. While the flag variable is less than number, the number in which we have taken input, until the flag variable is less than number, what we are going to do, we will inside this we will check. So we will check number is if number divided by this flag variable, if it becomes 0, because the condition you must keep in your mind, sorry. So here we are going to check it either by a 1 or by the number itself. Other than if it is being divisible by any number, it is simply a non-prime. So the same thing we are checking, if the remainder becomes equal to 0, then we can simply, we have no option than output printing it's a not prime number. We will print it, it's a non-prime number, and we will exit this while loop. We will explain each and every stuff in the programming technically. Right now we are just writing a pseudocode for it. Or if this condition got executed, nothing happened, it will go to the B step and it will increase the value of flag. So flag equal to flag plus 1. So suppose it started with 2 less than, say I'm taking input here as 15, so it will take 2 divided by 15 not equal to 0, fine, right? Then it will go for increment, so 2 will become 3. Here it will go for 3 less than 15, true. It will go inside, and here it will check 15 by 3 equal to 0. Yes, 15 is divided by 3, so it will display not prime number. So this conditional loop is going to check, and if everything is fine still, we'll say our prime number not got printed out. So it will go for the next step, which is my fifth step. This fifth step, it is going to display and while, and it will do output prime number. It is going to print prime number here. And finally, we will go for end of program. End of program here, right? That's how a prime number is going to be printed. If this will not happen, then fine, we will go for the next thing, and we will print it's a prime number, and we will end the program. So these things you must guys keep in your mind. If you are in your early of college, it will eventually help you there inside your college examination. And if you are in the interview process, these things will help you to clear any sort of interview, because they are the basic things which we usually ignore. But this definition we must keep in our mind, right? So thank you very much for the subscribing, and we will continue from the next part.